Hello students, this is a video to help students review for Business 150 Fall 2020 final exam. The exam will center on the chapters covered after the midterm. It will be 80% on those chapters and 20% on basic information. The basic information is from chapters 1 and 4. You should know things like what is a business, what is profit, what is sales revenue. That goes without saying. You should also know the basic forms of business ownership: sole proprietor, partnership, and corporation. The basic advantages and disadvantages of each form. Now, the first chapter we're going to talk about is chapter 10, motivating and satisfying employees and teams. You're going to start off with the discussion of scientific management. Frederick W. Taylor and scientific management, an attempt to apply scientific methods to managing people. You should also be familiar with the term soldiering, where workers try to stretch the work out and make it last longer for fear that if the work was finished, they wouldn't have a job. Then we talk specifically about certain theories. Here's what you need to know. You should be familiar with the Hawthorne Studies and the idea that human needs are just as important as financial incentives. You should also know that the Hawthorne Studies kicked off what we call the human relationship era in managing people. You should know Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Maslow said humans have needs and they have to be satisfied in order: physiological, safety, social, esteem, and at the very top, self-actualization. You should be familiar with Hertzberg's two-factor theory or hygiene theory, where he said certain things that we think are motivators are really just hygiene factors. They simply stop people from turning into dissatisfied workers. So you need to know what it means to be satisfied worker, who are more productive, and dissatisfied workers who are less productive. Next, we talk about McGregor's Theory X and Theory Y. Theory X, managers who believe workers are lazy and don't want to work. Theory Y, believe that workers do want more responsibility and want to work. Theory Z, from William Auchi, an attempt to combine the best of Japanese and American management. Reinforcement theory, the idea that behavior you want to see repeated should be rewarded. Of course, you need to go a little more in depth. Be familiar with reinforcement theory. Equity theory. People are productive when they believe they are being equitably compensated. The important point here is they believe. It's about their perspective. Expectancy theory. If a worker sees a reward that they deem attractive, well, if they believe that their hard work translate into good performance, and good performance will be rewarded with an attractive reward, then they're motivated. Goal setting theory. Now, when you look at goal setting theory, and this talks about setting specific and challenging goals, you should also look at management by objectives. The next thing you want to talk about in this chapter is teams. You should know what a team is: two or more people working toward a common goal, and the developmental stages, forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. That's going to do it for motivation. Now keep in mind, there are other YouTube videos, wc3, Allen, motivation, that you can look at for a more in-depth look. But the next chapter we're going to talk about is chapter 11, building customer relationships through effective marketing. First, you need to know what marketing is, right? Marketing is the set of institutions, processes for creating, communicating, delivering, and exchanging offerings that have value for customers, clients, partners, and society at large. Embedded in that definition is, in fact, the 4 P's of the marketing mix: product, price, place, promotion. You need to be familiar with the term utility. Yeah. What is utility and its different forms? Time utility, possession utility, place, and form. Form, place, time, and possession utility. A big idea from this chapter is customer relationship marketing, where we see the focus is now on establishing a relationship, not just making a sale. You should know the different eras that marketing has gone through: the production era, the selling era, and finally the marketing concept era, where they finally figured out that a firm is in business to satisfy customer needs and earn a profit. Then we want to talk about target market selection. Hence, you should know the variables used to segment the consumer market. Those variables are demographic, psychographic, geographic, and behavioral. That's for the consumer markets. Now, one of the things I didn't do and I should have, the major distinction in classifications is business-to-business marketing and consumer marketing. Business-to-business marketing has to do with products that are purchased for resale, to become part of another product, or to aid business operations. Consumer marketing has to do with products that are purchased for your own personal consumption or consumption by someone in your household. Going back to the target market segmentation variables, I'm going to pick it up by talking about marketing information systems and market research. In order to fully implement the marketing concept, you first have to know what the customer's needs and wants are. This chapter ends with the consumer buying behavior model, which you need to be familiar with. Identify a problem, gather information, choose the alternative, and post-purchase behavior. That's pretty much going to do it for chapter 11.